Hi everyone, it's Mandy with 2 E's, and you've come to the show Simply Rent It, which is also the name of my business. I am your professional licensed rental consultant who has a deep passion for helping landlord investors save time, gain knowledge, and reduce risk without having to spend a ton of money hiring a full-time property manager. On this show, you'll learn all the tips and tricks you need for your investment property journey. On today's show, we're covering the 5 areas that are most missed when you conduct a checkout as a landlord. Or if you're watching this as a tenant, these are kind of the 5 areas that sometimes get missed. So here we go. The first area is your return air vents. So these would be the ones that are kind of higher on the wall or on top of the ceiling. Those sometimes get missed for wiping down any dust that has accumulated there, and those can get really gross if they don't get cleaned very often. Like if you've lived in the home for a year or longer, they can just get a lot of buildup and real gross. A lot of times if a property has neglected to have that cleaned and it's been like that, and then they come through and clean it, there'll actually be some rust buildup on some of those return air vents because of the moisture and the dust and the dirt and stuff. That rust just starts to build up. So if you're going through a checkout, because we are getting really close to the end of July here, where Ames does most of their turnover leases here for people moving out, make sure you check the air vents, return air vents in your home or your apartment, especially if you're in a hurry. It's just an area that gets missed, but if you have a new tenant moving in and they have a checklist to go through, it is an area they'll bring to your attention for sure if it gets missed. So the second item that usually gets missed are ceiling fans and the blades on top of those. Those can be really easy to miss if you're trying to hurry through a checkout as well. So just take a look at the top of there and make sure that there's not a thick layer of dust or even a thin layer, but just take a look and see if you can spot anything. And if so, just wipe it down quickly. It's really an easy fix. And then the third item that I think everyone should check is behind a garage or shed if there is one. I had this happen to me personally at a checkout once where I guess a team member was doing the checkout, and there was a couch behind a shed, and they had checked over the whole place. Everything looked great. The yard looked great. And the new people moved in, and they went, to go mow or look behind the shed, and boom, there was a couch right there that got missed. So items can get left behind, not just couches, things like outdoor things that can get stored, like totes or mowers or things like that. Can get left behind in areas like that. So it's always a good idea to check behind sheds or garages if your place has one. The fourth item that I think is really important is to just turn on the water and check your drains in the kitchen and the bathroom areas, or any other area that has water access to a drain, just to make sure that one, your water pressure is okay, that you don't have a plugged aerator, and two, what's most important is that your drains aren't plugged, that they don't need to be cleaned. And this isn't necessarily something that a tenant would need to, check. They should bring it to your attention if there is a clogged drain, of course, while they're living there. But this is for your own peace of mind, just to know that the drains are working properly, that the water pressure is at the right place that it should be. So make sure to check those things out. And then the fifth and last item is definitely not the last, but these are the top 5 that I could think of. So if you think of any more, put them down below. But is behind the appliances. And this can be really hard sometimes because the appliances are big, like those refrigerators and the ovens, especially if a gas oven. You don't necessarily want the tenant moving a gas oven to clean behind it. It can be really dangerous. So communicate with your tenant if those are your expectations. If they're not, it's just really important to communicate with your tenant what's happening. And it's important for you as a landlord to check behind those places, just to make sure that everything is okay, like there's no leaks. If you have like a water dispenser on your refrigerator, that there's no leaks underneath the refrigerator, that the back of the refrigerator isn't full of dust and need cleaning, because that can reduce the life of your refrigerator as well. So it's just always a good idea to pull those things out and just take a peek if you can. I know there are a lot of other items that get missed. These were the top 5 that came to my mind. If you have more, put them below and I would be happy to see what they are, and I'll like your comments. So until our next video, I will see you next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.